secret behind that, the fact behind that, is the innovative way in which ISRO has handled it. In that, they chose a path to reach the moon, which was not otherwise thought of, but thought only because, due to the route selection, and I'm using very pedestrian language here, I'm conscious of that, using such a route selection, ISRO made it possible to do it cost effectively, because the gravitational pulls, any magnetic fields which come in the way, I'm sorry, again a pedestrian language, can exhaust more fuel. But the way in which ISRO decided to take this Chandrayaan-3 was chosen not for a racing expedition. I'll have to reach there faster than somebody else, but I have to reach there in a cost-effective manner using lesser fuel and therefore serve the purpose of sustainability. Space research also has to be sustainable, because otherwise it becomes too expensive and cannot be afforded at all. So, innovation intertwined with sustainability, particularly in the realm of space, is what ISRO has achieved by choosing the route with which it reached the south pole of the moon. Now, the lander that is there was named Vikram probe. Obviously, the name reminds us of Vikram Sarabhai, who set up the first rocket launching station, which we are now using repeatedly. Nobody ever in India can forget the contribution that Vikram Sarabhai or Homi Bhabha did. Of course, Homi then moved over to the Atomic Energy Commission, which was carved out of the then body ISRO. So Vikram probe did something spectacular again. Having reached the South Pole, for the first time, the density and the temperature of the moon's ionosphere has been recorded. Several people went to the moon earlier, landed in the moon earlier, but we did the first thing of landing in the South Pole. But for the first time again, the moon's ionosphere and its density and the temperature there has been recorded by our Vikram probe. Interestingly, from the probe, the rover which is moving slowly on the surface of the moon, the Pragyan rover, in its exploration has unearthed groundbreaking discoveries, sir. The presence of sulfur, for instance, in the lunar south pole has come as a very big surprise to the scientific community. So, I'm happy to say Chandrayaan-3 landing in the South Pole for the first time does not just stop there, it has also created a lot more record on its own. Just going back, Chandrayaan-2 also would have achieved, but for the last minute tragic failure, but ISRO showcased to the world that it shall not be deterred by that failure. It would learn lessons. Every strand of the errors have been identified, lessons learned, and today we see that the ISRO has corrected itself to the extent that very many little errors which had crept in earlier had been removed and better solutions have been offered than what had been given in Chandrayaan-2 itself. No wonder that the chief, S. Somanath, has been received by the Indian common citizen everywhere. When he went into a flight, people stood up and clapped for him. This is the kind of respect Indians have, we our people have, for such great achieving scientists of this country. Nobody ever forgets them. And today ISRO and ISRO scientists are all very recognized by people of India, and in the process, I'll later delve into this point, they are people who have studied from tier 2, tier 3 colleges, gone into Indian Institute of Sciences and many such institutions, but they are there sitting and contributing for the future development of India and also sharing their knowledge with the entire space community all over the world. Now, if I spoke about Chandrayaan-2, sir, I'll also take this opportunity to say about Chandrayaan-1, which was launched in 2008. Even that was a wonderful, sir.
Honorable members, what a sight. Look at the galleries. Look at the galleries. Jayaji, look at the galleries. All your gender. And you are iconic to all of them. And at a time when the Honorable Finance Minister is on legs. And this has happened right from the beginning. But that it would happen so continually is unimaginable, is spectacular. My tribute to this great power which is being unleashed in India to change it for the better and to take it to 2047 gloriously. Honorable Finance Minister.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'll take this opportunity which you've given me by highlighting the women and girls in the gallery. Equally impressive, sir, and I'm sure you would have noticed it as well. And Jayaji would also probably appreciate the fact that we have... I heard it, sir, but what I wanted to say is, Jayaji, because the school children who are here, I'm so touched by the fact that they are here to observe what we are discussing. And I'm sure, yes, all the members would feel happy about the presence of the future generations of India here.
She started a first program.
Oh, okay.
As a school child.
Honorable Leader of the House reminds me that I'm not wrong in mentioning Honorable Jaya ji's name, because she apparently acted as a school child.
Yes.
A student with uniform in a film.
I was reflecting, honorable members, on that memorable contribution as a great artist and elevating her to iconic status, which she has sustained all throughout. Honorable Finance.
Appreciations, Jayaji. Sir, I did mention about Chandrayaan-2 and wanted to move over to briefly talk about Chandrayaan-1 as well. But before I do talk about Chandrayaan-1, I want to remind myself and also place it before the honorable members in this House that on probably 7th September 2019, midnight, the Governor of West Bengal, the then Governor of West Bengal, and now Vice President of India, witnessed that landing, which of course had a problem, but along with hundreds of school children in the science city of Kolkata. And today, you are reminding us about the school children who are here to listen to this debate on the Chandrayaan-3 success. So Chandrayaan-1, sir, if I can just go one step backward, was also a very successful mission. 2008, when it was launched, it discovered the presence of water on the moon's surface, and it also provided a lot of insights into the lunar geology. So obviously, each one time that ISRO had attempted to do, they've come out with extraordinary contributions to the space science, and that is now actually being used by the space community, scientist community from all over the world. And repeatedly, when we talk about ISRO, I will definitely recollect that the founders of ISRO, as I named them earlier, Vikram Sarabhai or Homi Bhabha, had all remembered that this contribution or this investment in space is an investment in future, and that it will be done for the sake of development and also for the sake of humanity. That spirit continues even today, sir. I would want to highlight that. And when I do that, it is purposely because I want to bring to the context that continuously in India, ISRO has received that kind of a support from all communities, ordinary citizens, students, children, scientific community, and from the government of the day. The kind of support that ISRO has received is something which all of us are proud of, and we'll continue doing that. Now, but of course, much before I go into talking many more things, a theme which I want to mention here, and I would probably respond to it repeatedly, is a comment which Jairam Ramesh had made, honorable members not here, but he has made in the morning about, muscular nationalism, you leave it to the scientists. Sir, yes, and I also recall, I wasn't in the House, but I've seen it subsequently, that former President APJ Abdul Kalam had referred to Professor Satish Dhawan and said leadership should be like that, where once when a mission failed, he had said not to worry at all. Leave it there. I take the full responsibility as the head. But when the next year it was corrected and they achieved success, Professor Satish Dhawan had told our former president, then scientist, APJ Abdul Kalam, the success is due to your team and the success is to you, and as a true leader, gave the credit to the team. Absolutely. Whoever would deny the scientists their contribution. But it doesn't mean that if the Prime Minister of the country stands next to a scientist or a team of scientists who worked for something, and when there is unfortunately a failure or a disappointment, to stand by them and say, don't you worry, you will be doing better the next time. And therefore I read this quote. Honorable Prime Minister stood next to Professor Sivan, the scientist, during the launch of Chandrayaan-3, which in the last minute, unfortunately, broke all our hearts and disappointed all of them as much as the scientific community when it just couldn't land. Standing next to him, who had tears in his eyes, Mr. Sivan had tears in his eyes, Prime Minister had said, last night, when he stood with him, I understood your frame of mind. The look in your eyes said a lot. That is why I did not stay here for long. We might not have reached the lunar surface as planned. You came as close as you could. Stay steady and look ahead. We are full of confidence when it comes to our space program. The best is yet to come.
Nirmala Sitharaman there really highlighting India's achievements, right, as in the midst of the debate on the women's...
A new day, a special session, and a brand new Parliament building